What's the stupidest reasons the TSA gave you a hard time? My humorous. I have a bag with an ice pack since I'm on humorous to treat an autoimmune disease. Taking the caps off primes the injection. Each pen costs $500 each. They uncapped all 8 of them. I raised a stink. Because I couldn't travel without this, and then my dear raised a stink when I called him for an emergency script. They were even in a special bag made for TSA in mind with all the drug info. They said my shirt was a jacket. I kept telling her it was a blouse and all I had was a bra underneath and wasn't going to take it off. After this exchange 4 times she finally let me through. Got flagged for organic material. It was an urn. They asked me to open it. I refused. Only time I have ever made a stink in my life. Supervisor finally let me go. Not TSA but at the Canada-US border, the US border agent said to my brother, about his car. "Wow, looks like you keep it pretty clean in here." He did. It was his baby, then points at the dashboard. "What's with that?" My bro, confused, "It's a banana peel, I just ate a banana." Border guard, "Well, that's not very clean. Pull over for a secondary search." LOL LOL LOL. I still laugh about this. It was like 20 years ago. A small pair of scissors hair trimmers, still in factory packaging, clearly marked TSA approved. Not TSA but customs coming back to America from Canada on a ferry. I went over to Canada to go shopping. I brought my Switch. They didn't believe that I would go shopping there. They kept asking, "Are you sure you aren't meeting up with someone?" "Yes, I'm sure, I just went shopping." "Okay, then why did you bring your Switch?" "So I could play it on the ferry." Eventually they let me go, but harassing a guy in his mid-20s for having a Switch is kinda ridiculous. Actual border agent. My uncle and father have almost comically common last names. Last time they visited the US they were stopped and held because there was a warrant for someone with my uncle's name. Only problem, my uncle was 9 inches shorter and 30 years older than the suspect. My cap is often chosen for extended testing. I think it was Chicago where 2 separate TSA agents were alternately yelling at me, one that I had to stay there while they tested my cap, and one that I couldn't stay there and had to leave the security area. Not a stupid reason. But right after 9/11 I went through security at Midway after sampling soil at a fertilizer facility. I had a bag with all my sampling stuff. I triggered all the shit for explosives and got taken to a weird room and interrogated a bit. Missed my flight. My wife had a double mastectomy. TSA stopped her and made her remove her pads, then asked if she sued the doctor. I'm glad she didn't tell me about the comment until a few days later, or I would probably still be sitting in jail for beating the life out of a TSA agent. I have a titanium plate holding my arm together after an accident. It shows up on metal detectors. I was pulled to the side. I showed an X-ray. The SOB insisted on squeezing my arm very hard so he could feel the plate, which involved tearing healing muscle tissue over my gnarly surgical scar. I was in more pain than usual for a couple of weeks thanks to that sadistic bastard. Wheelchair cushion on which I was sitting, BC paraplegic. TSA agent, that could be anything, we need to open it up. Me sure. Put that in writing and also give me a letter guaranteeing that a replacement cushion custom, costs $6,000, will be waiting at the gate. TSA agent: "Oh, yeah, well, go on then." I had an umbrella in my bag. I have a pin from a breast biopsy that the TSA is just certain is a secret weapon. Apparently my boobs represent an existential threat to democracy. I used the bathroom. Apparently the fucking idiots that run airports put glycerine-based soaps in the bathroom. So I washed my hands, then tested positive for explosives. Then a man touched my dick. I was traveling alone as a 10-year-old with my 6-year-old sister in tow. My grandmother had packed us some juice boxes for the flight. They were in my sister's bag, so a TSA agent did what any sane and rational adult would do: berate a little girl to the point of tears, and then refused to let her go until an adult arrived. We nearly missed our plane. Being friendly to a TSA employee in line. Gave the man a compliment, and the next TSA employee I ran into told me deadpan, "You know, I can really ruin people's days." I said, "I'm sure you can, just like all the employees here." Then let me through. Such a weird flex though. I had a full set of 120 Prismacolor colored pencils, and they were apparently all too sharp. Little did they know that those leads were too soft to do any damage at all, and would crumble to dust just by looking at them too roughly. Blood-thinning injections with an original prescription and diagnostic letter. Still wouldn't let me bring them on board, on a long-haul leg of 26 hours of travel, where DVTs are known to happen. Make it make sense. Pokemon cards in a card binder. They said they couldn't see through them or something on the X-ray machine because of the holographic cards. They literally had to pick up and move my giant bag of weed to get to my Pokemon cards. I was wearing a tank top. The scanner showed that there was something in the non-existent sleeve of my shirt. I had 2 laptops. It took almost 3 hours before they could find anyone to tell them I need a Windows machine, and a Mac because of my work is actually a valid reason. And by then I had long since missed my flight. Mine's not there at stupid, but I was flying out of El Paso, Texas, and was pulled off to the side to have my bag searched. I had a stuffed animal in there and they couldn't tell what it was. Then when they took it out they scanned it separately. There were no drugs in the bunny. They dug through my shit for a compass I had bought at a tour thing outside of Vegas because it looked like a weapon. I told him it was a compass and he said show me, so I just held it in front of him and was like, yeah, that way is north, dude. I was the last person on the plane because he took so damn long. My wife had her inhaler in her medical bag. It was suspicious. There was a suspicious tear in my shorts pocket. Not the stupidest reason, but it was funny. Had a bunch of geodes in my backpack, was on a dig out of state. You'd be surprised how much they look like old-timey bombs on the scanner. Edit other time I got randomly selected, probably cause I was wearing a beat-up hoodie and was looking scruffy. They were swabbing my hands. Him, sir, have you recently been handling any explosives? Me, bro, it's Nebraska and the 5th of July. Him, you're right, my bad. I was flying home after a long bicycle tour and had a P-38 style can opener in my carry-on bag. The TSA agent said I haven't seen one of these since Nam and confiscated it. I'm sure he pocketed it. Got told I couldn't have a nail clipper. Why not? Because it might be used as a weapon. I just motioned at the literal fucking machine gun and pistol and knife I had on me. They still took my nail clippers. Edit for reference, we were deploying to Afghanistan. But we had to go through TSA and customs on our way there while carrying all of our gear and weapons for said deployment. When they confiscated our pilot's butter knife, we reminded them we have bags of them on board the plane. The pilot literally took it from the previous flight for his layover and was going to return it on board to catering. I was thinking, were they worried he was going to put it to his neck and hijack himself? Thinking face is already flying the plane in a locked flight deck. Edited punctuation. A sex toy. They hassled us and searched us and waved it around for 10 minutes before letting us go. I've never been so embarrassed. I didn't know it was there. I thought my girlfriend had put it in the checked bag. They got real weird about a potato I had in my bag once. I had bought a few groceries at the Airbnb on my trip and had a potato left over. I didn't want to waste it, so I figured I might as well take it home and eat it there. The TSA agents were very concerned and escalated the matter to their supervisor, who came over, saw the potato and laughed. He handed it back to me and said, "We'll let you get away with it this time." Well, I had lost a decent amount of weight and they made me take my belt off, as usual. I told them that I had to hold my shorts up, but they insisted I raise my hands while they pat me down. I raised my arms and my shorts dropped to the floor. I was standing there in my boxers in front of the whole airport. Gotta love Orlando. I have lots of stories, starting with Lego. In my suitcase was a limited edition Lego set and a BB-8 mug. The Lego set was open, so was some of the bags of pieces. It was all over my suitcase. Thankfully Lego posted me the missing pieces as I came across them while building. I never got the BB-8 mug back, so I guess they thought the shape was something sinister, which I gutted about because it was